That sounded like you were talking about my feet for far too long in that sentence.
New intro is putting a lot on me. I said you'll get it anywhere between tomorrow and 3 months.
You're like a scientist when you try a rager. Hey there, we're back. It's another episode of The Table Business. It's me, your host, Jack. Hey, and once again, I'm joined by my two co-hosts. First up, it is the ageless Cloudkill Connor. Hey, Connor.
Hey, what's going on? Ageless is really sweet. I don't think I've ever been called ageless before, so I like that one. That's a good one.
And of course, if there's a weird combination of feats out there, this guy's made a video about it. It's your mate, Arlentric from YouTube. Hey, Arlen.
That sounded like you were talking about my feet for far too long in that sentence. But yes, hello. Good to be here, co-host.
Hello, co-host. How are you, my friend? And host. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. I like to think of let's refer to our feet as a combination of feats from now on.
I go left and right, but I don't know what other people are using, so I don't like to assume.
So we're back. This is our third time doing this now, and we've been kicking around a few name ideas. So shall we make it official, Connor? Can you make an announcement for us? What are we going to call this show?
It is with absolute pleasure and no small amount of joy that I officially dub this show the Newsboys.
It's all applaud.
Extra.
It's the Newsboys. Talking about tabletop games. Yes, we'll be back with a new intro next week. At least like new words. I don't know if there'll be new music and stuff like that. Let's pump the brakes on that part.
New intro is putting a lot on me. I said you'll get it anywhere between tomorrow and 3 months.
I'm talking about what I'm going to say at the start of the show. That's the only part I'm talking about. But we are back once again. And last episode, we broke down the first 4 subclasses from the new Heroes of Faerun sourcebook. And this week, we're back to break down the remaining 4 subclasses. So last week, we spoke about the College of the Moonbard, the Knowledge Domain Cleric, the Banneret Fighter, and the Oath of the Noble Genie's Paladin. If you want to know anything about those, make sure you go back, check out the previous episode. It's over there on YouTube and on the podcast feed. And this week, we're going to take a look at the Winter Walker Ranger, the Scion of the Three Rogue, the Spellfire Sorcerer, and the Bladesinger Wizard. And to do that, we are asking one question.
Play or nay?
Yes! And this week I'm actually playing the correct music compared to what I played last week. But hey, on this part of the show, we're going to dive deep into the subclasses that are available in the brand new D&D book, Heroes of Faerun. And by the end of this segment, we'll tell you if you should play or nay these classes. So let's get into our first one for today. We are talking about the Winter Walker Ranger. So the main thing, let's go through the level 3 stuff on this class first, because there's a fair bit here I feel like to break down. But basically it's like a grizzled survivor in the north, Icewind Dale kind of vibes here. So level 3, you get a bunch of cold related stuff. You get your weapons ignore cold damage resistance. You have resistance to frost damage. Weapons do 1d4 of cold damage. I've used frost and cold interchangeably in my notes here. Apologies. That goes up to 1d6 at level 11. Then also at level 3, you get temporary hit points when using Hunter's Mark, 1d10 plus your ranger's level. Hunter's Mark targets can't disengage. And then level 3 as well, Winter Walker spells. You get a bunch of ice-themed spells. So what do we think? Top level at the beginning here. What do we think of this class?
Right off the bat, it's a good Ranger subclass. I don't say that lightly. I really don't. Canonically, Rangers, not the best.
What?
What do you mean, what?
That's going.
Shocked by this news.
What? It's craziness.
Man has just opened the 5th edition of Dungeons & Dragons for the first time ever. No, I think it's really cool. I love it. I think the only glaring issue I see from like a bird's eye view is that it's very specific. It's very, very shoehorned into being Jon Snow, you know nothing type of situation here. So, but other than that, really cool. I love that they can't disengage with Hunter's Mark. I think that's so cool.
Yeah, I think thematically that just feels correct for what Hunter's Mark is. So I'd almost like that to be just a standard part of Hunter's Mark. I feel like Hunter's Mark needs massive improvements where it is at the moment. But yeah, I think when you look at this and there's like 1d4 of cold damage at the start, that kind of stuff, it does like read as a little underpowered if you compare it to like Oath of the Noble Genies that we just came out of, which is just like everything is a home run on that class, basically. But yeah, as you say, Ranger is what it is in 5.5. And when you actually compare this to the other subclasses that are in 5.5 for Ranger, this is pretty good. Like, this is right up there with like Fey Wanderer, with Gloomstalker. Like, it's
kind of a sadder reflection on Rangers as a whole that this is the exciting thing.
Yes.
But it is in comparison. It is absolutely it's a cool option.
Because, yeah, like you get, like Gloomstalker's damage buff is the 2d6 extra psychic damage on a hit, but you only get that once a turn and it's tied to the int mod. Then Winter Walker is getting 1d4 with that level 3 ability, but it's limited to once per enemy per turn. So you could be hitting multiple targets with this potentially. So there's like a way, like, Connor, I'm probably speaking your combat language over here. If you want to just get in there, you could be dealing a fair bit of extra damage with this compared to some of the other subclasses in there.
Yeah, it's got that same kind of wording that I think it appeals to a lot of like, I can use sneak attack more than, once per turn due to the way this is worded type of vibe, which I think is super duper interesting. I'm also a big fan of the damage from your weapon attacks, ranger spells, and ranger features ignores resistance to cold damage. I feel like there is a lot of shenanigans there. I feel like there's a lot that could be, depending on your DM as well, you could be like, well, technically, it's a ranger spell or it's a weapon attack because, there's a lot of arguments to be made there. This does feel a little bit like a hungry little power gamer's dream if you were to interpret the language correctly. I'm a big fan.
I'm just trying to remind myself, and I happily get you two to stall. There's a new feat that does something with frost damage as well that kind of...
It's Coldcaster, isn't it?
Yes, it is Coldcaster. Yeah, so you get access to... it boosts your intelligence, wisdom, or charisma by 1. So, your general ability score increase. You get to learn the Ray of Frost cantrip, and if you've already learned that, you get to choose any other wizard cantrip of your choosing, which is really powerful for classes that can't take wizard cantrips, because there's wizard cantrips are probably the best ones you can get access to. And you get access to the feature called Frostbite, which reduces a target's next saving throw by 1d4 when you hit it with a cold damage. So if you're just going to be outputting cold damage, you're going to be reducing saving throws by 1d4 every single time you hit them. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool for a all-in-one cold build.
That's free Bane, basically.
Yep.
You're
exactly
getting a
right.
free Bane off a feat, and you're getting another cantrip as well.
I think, as you were kind of mentioning earlier, I think the only, I don't know, confusion's the wrong word, but it is so specific in it being cold themed, which is, I think we talked about this a bit offline. It's just like, it's hard to do much different with outside of the whole I am Jon Snow with a bow north of the wall. And it was the kind of thing I was having to think about since we went through everything last week and I was kind of preparing for this one. It's interesting that I feel like they could have given options. Like, this feels like a lot of the things in here could just be like you could have been like an elemental ranger and just change some of the options here to be like just reskin some of this. Instead of cold, choose a different damage type.
What I think is very fun is that there's 3 constants in life. It's death, taxes, and the fact that you're probably going to have to homebrew a D&D 5.5 or a 5e class. And I would not be opposed if someone came to my table and was like, hey man, I love the vibe of this ranger, but can I make it desert? And like a desert walker and everything's like fire damage. And then they have like fire related spells. I'd be like 100% go for gold. That's awesome. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's about. But yeah, I agree. Like an elemental or like tying it into the favorite train would have made a lot more sense.
And there's a desert setting as well in this Forgotten Realms book as well, so it would make sense. Because, yeah, it feels like this one and the other one we're going to talk about, Spellfire Sorcerer, are probably the two subclasses that are like most tied into the Forgotten Realms fiction. Maybe even the Scion of the Three as well. You could probably throw that into the mix here. It feels like this subclass is, you want to be Drizzt Do'Urden in his amazing stories traveling through Icewind Dale, then this is the class to play. You're going to get to experience that vibe very similarly. Other abilities just to quickly touch on here. So level 7, you get a group heal with a magic action, 1d10 plus ranger level. You get advantage versus being frightened as well when you do this once per long rest. Level 11, you can use a reaction whenever you take damage to force a wisdom save on the attacker to be stunned, I think, until the start of your next turn.
That's right, yeah.
So
until the end of your next turn.
It's the end. So yeah, pretty cool. Stunning is always mega powerful in D&D. And then the level 15 ability is probably the big, most interesting thing. It has like quite a strong capstone here, which is when you use Hunter's Mark, you become all ghostly and icy. You become immune to cold damage. There's a 15-foot aura dealing 1d4 of cold damage, and you're partially incorporeal. You can move through objects and people, and you take 1d10 force damage if you end inside something, but you don't get shunted out of that thing if you end inside something.
I think the really interesting thing with this kind of capstone ability is with the kind of aesthetic of how we describe the Jon Snow north of the wall kind of vibe, this one just doesn't like really fit in with the rest of it. Where it's like, and I can go icy and be.
I turn into an
ice ghost, and you can't target me. And I'm like, it's like, all of the features are actually really cool and I like all of that, but I'm like, oh, that doesn't quite fit in with the wilderness cold, like I'm out there in my Viking fur coats just bracing the cold. No, now I'm an ice ghost that can't be targeted by things.
We were based in reality up until about level 15.
Exactly.
And then like the show jumped the shark and we're like, oh no, we have to keep the viewers interested. So we gave him Danny Phantom.
And now I am a White Walker is what happened at the end.
I love Game of Thrones, but they really beefed the ending when they turned Jon Snow into a White Walker.
Man, that would have been better. Isn't that kind of what happened anyway? Anyway, let's not get into that.
No, we digress.
Yes. I think it's a cool subclass, definitely. I think class fantasy on this one for you guys, we've touched on Jon Snow. The big one for me is Drizzt. Like, this feels like this was made so you can play your Forgotten Realms Icewind Dale campaign, which so many of the most beloved stories have happened in that setting.
I also had, which is the worst notes I had possible. I wrote, Elsa, she was a hardened wilderness scout.
Yeah.
I mean, you could kind of put that into anything,
Yeah,
right? Captain America, if he was a hardened wilderness scout. I also think, like I said, like I think it's Dagon or like Deegan or Dagon. It was like the NPC from Crit Roll Season 2, like towards the end of the campaign. He was very much like a survivalist kind of ranger up in like the frozen north of Islecross. It was very much the same vibe as this. So that's probably my touch point for it.
All right, well, let's close it up on this one. Play or nay, Connor?
Tentative play if I have a cool DM that lets me homebrew it.
Into not winter.
Yes, if I can have not winter, it's a play. Otherwise, I would probably just say a nay, just for the fact that it's so specific.
Got to get that summer strider ranger over there.
There's my summer striders at Hot Boy Summer.
Arlo?
Yeah, I think I absolutely would play this one. I think it's at the moment, it's a one and done after having experienced it, but I would like to experience it. So.
And Winter Walker Ranger is a play for me. I like the snowy settings. I think they're fun. I think this one is most exciting for me from a roleplay perspective. Though, yeah, I think it's a one and done. I don't know if I'm coming back for a second time. I don't know
if I'm coming back for any Ranger subclass, to be fair. I'm like, okay, I've given it a crack.
Yeah, you're like a scientist when you try a Ranger. You've got to know for yourself.
As D&D creators, you kind of have to do your due diligence and play the classes once. I've never played a druid, and I don't know if I ever will. So, unfortunately, I can never speak on that.
Yes, you can't really call yourself a D&D content creator until the day you do, my friend.
Whack.
The next campaign, I'm forcing you into it. But there is no druid subclass in the Faerun book, unfortunately.
Woo!
What a shame. So Scion of the Three rogue now. This is a rogue that is in service of the Three from Baldur's Gate 3. So big thing here, level 3. As a reaction, when a visible enemy becomes bloodied, teleport within 5 feet and make 1 melee attack. You have uses equal to your intelligence modifier per long rest. Then level 3, you choose one of the 3 and you get a resistance, a damage type resistance, and a cantrip. I'll just go through these other ones as well. There's a new cunning strike option to frighten targets, and then that gives you advantage on frightened targets. Level 13, when you use that level 3 ability to teleport, you can deal damage equal to your intelligence modifier to creatures within 10 feet. And at level 17, regain 1 use of that ability, which is Bloodthirst, on short rest, and treat 1s and 2s as 3s on sneak attack damage.
What is this subclass, man?
This subclass sucks. I'll say it. I'll be brave enough to say it. It's just like, this is so boring, man. Like, a level 17 capstone is you get an expended use of an ability back, and you get to turn your 1s and 2s into 3s. Oh.
Let's talk about the main thing first, which feels like that level 3 ability to teleport as a reaction when a visible enemy becomes bloodied. We'll talk about who the hell tracks bloodied at some stage here, but teleport within 5 feet and make 1 melee attack. So you could get your sneak attack off in someone else's turn. Essentially, it was what that is. What do we think of that ability, at least?
It's not bad. It's cool. It's a funny one. I don't think anyone cares, but it's like, oh, this is a kill steal subclass where you want to take all the glory of getting how do you want to do this? This is what the subclass is. I want to go in there, and I could have potentially not been involved in combat at all, but if something's almost dead, it's my time to shine. Which
it's just like mechanically awesome, but like all it gives to me is like, nothing personal, kiddo, and then like teleporting and stabbing them. Like, it's just,
that's what everyone has been saying about this class, but as a positive. That's the angle that people have been talking about, saying, oh, this is the class like the nothing personal kid meme. This is fun.
This is like the Chosen from like Smosh. Like, impressive. So that's what this gives me. It's like, I don't know. I think I played with too many like edgy rogues that sit in the corner of the room and don't talk to anyone and like only want to stab people and do damage. So I think maybe this class is just really putting me in that headspace. I'm like, I hate these players, man.
You got to exposure therapy, Connor. We're all going to play these in a class, and we're all going to be edgelords.
That would be funny though. Like that would be good if we were leaning into it. But like, I think anyone that sees this class in the book is like, oh yeah, no one's ever done this before, as they start making their, like Edgar Kilmore, the hooded, drow elf that sits in the back of the tavern and doesn't talk to anyone.
I think like the actual lore behind the 3, so it's Bane, Baal, and Merkel, if I'm not, I did a bit of a deep dive in it. It is like the actual lore behind them is very cool, but I think even touching on the Winter Ranger in kind of how narrow of a idea, I think the thing I really struggle with the Scion of the Three is it's probably the most thematically narrow subclass that now exists in all of D&D, because you can't really go anywhere with it outside of it being very to the book of like, and even like the actual abilities of the level 3 ability where you pick a different resistance based on whichever, or what I was like,
that sucks. Straight up.
Sucks.
That sucks.
It's
might be the worst ability in this entire book for a subclass, those ones.
And if we're getting into the weeds of it as well, right? If I'm picking Baal, poison resistance, yeah, that's pretty cool. You giving me Blade Ward, the worst cantrip in D&D? Thanks, man. I can't wait to spend my whole action to get some, like, what is it these days? The attacker subtracts 1d4 from the attack roll, and it's an action and it's concentration? No, I shan't be doing that.
But just the idea of being, cursed or blessed by these all-powerful dead 3, and they're like, we'll give you a resistance. And it's like, okay.
And a cantrip.
Yeah, here's a cantrip. Thank you. And it's just like, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I feel like they tried to do a lot of things, and bits and pieces of it are fairly interesting, but it's not like a fully well-rounded thing that I'm like raring to go try.
It feels half baked, like which is crazy to say because it is so specific, right? But like it feels to me that this could have like gone the way of like Hexblade, where like it's not like they name like you're in service to this sentient weapon. They're like, oh, this is like an example of some of the like the sentient weapons, or maybe it's like the Raven Queen, maybe it's blah 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 blah. Like if it was like you have like pledged, like service to some kind of god like this, or like trio of gods, that would make sense. It would give a lot more like freedom to actually kind of make this class your own, but it's like, nope, Bane, Bale, and Merkel, baby.
Yeah, it'd be like making a cleric subclass and be like, this is the exact entity that you have to worship. Yes. And it's like, okay, thanks for making the decision for it. Maybe that is what is appealing about it. I don't have to think too much about my character's backstory or purpose because it's pre-written.
So I haven't played any of Baldur's Gate 3.
Really?
And Arlo, have you played much of it?
Not enough.
So Connor, you're a bit of a Baldur's Gate head, yeah?
I've you know what? I've finished the game about 7 times, yeah.
Are the 3 compelling enough for you to want to make a character from how they appear in that game?
Yeah, I think they probably could be. I think that, and spoilers for people that haven't played Baldur's Gate 3 ahead, so tune out now if that's what you're concerned about. So 3 of the main antagonists of the game are like in avatars, basically, or in service of these 3 gods. You got Bane, Bale, and Merkel. It's really cool. It's really solid. Like each of them are like an awesome boss fight, and there's mechanics based around like each of these dead 3. And the whole purpose as well is that like Withers, the skeleton guy in your camp, like he's technically the god that banished all of them. So it's like very like personal stakes. But to be like a rogue that's kind of a warlock but not in service of these 3, it feels very kind of like I didn't write my backstory, so here you go, DM.
You described it as half-baked. I almost described it as quarter-baked at this stage, because it's like the level 3 ability that you get, the Bloodthirst ability there. It's like, okay, there's something here in this, like doing something on a reaction. You get the chance to make an attack here. It's quite rare to be able to do that based on the way the action economy works in D&D. You rarely get to use your reaction to make a whole extra attack on another turn. And as a rogue, you can trigger sneak attacks by doing that. The way the attack action works in 2024 is different as well. So you could be triggering multiple attacks in the same time. All of those could get sneak attacks. Like there is, like you can pull off quite a cool move here, but then I think it just instantly falls apart following this, where it's just like, yeah, it's tied to your intelligence mod and you can only refresh it per long rest. So it's like, okay, int, like maybe I've built a rogue that has a high int mod, but more likely it's probably going to be my 3rd best modifier, might be a +1. So I got like 1 chance per long rest to pull this off, and I'm probably like, there's a big chance I'm going to miss my attack. And it's just like I might miss and it's done.
Yeah, and this subclass doesn't give you, outside of that mention of the int modifier for dealing damage equal to after the bloodlust, it doesn't give you a lot of reasons to want to have a high intelligence modifier for anything else. Like I feel like with the start of it, being able to teleport after something's bloodied, they very easily could have built on top of that and added even more triggers. Where it's like, great, maybe when that happens, maybe your level 9 feature or 13 feature is, and after something dies, you get to trigger another attack, and it keeps like if you're worshipping the dead 3. And it keeps triggering after things are getting more and more, like obviously all of those things re-triggering won't happen, but I feel like they could have just kept building on top of the idea of you having this lust for blood and wanting to do more things after things are being killed or damaged. But yeah, because it starts with like, oh, teleportation after bloodied, cool. And then it just immediately doesn't do anything to make, like, that's maybe the coolest part of the subclass, and it's the first level 3 thing you get.
Yeah, that's it. And yeah, then from there, it just falls off a cliff immediately. None of it feels cohesive. Like you using your int modifier, you're kind of like a warlock rogue, but you don't get access to spells. You get one cantrip and a damage resistance. All the cantrips are kind of mid for rogues as well. Then a new cunning strike that lets you frighten targets, but gain advantage on frightened targets who are running away from you while you're wanting to make melee attacks. Like, it's like, what's going on here? Like, there's like, that's not cohesive. Then, yeah, level 13 damage equal to your int mod. That's the first thing that felt connected to Bloodthirst. And then finally, I haven't even noted it here, but at some point you get one use of that Bloodthirst back on a short rest. Like, it's all just like what were they thinking? It's like when you read through this.
It doesn't make any sense to me. And I feel like this is a trap that, like, if you were playing D&D for the first time and you were like, I want to make a cool edgy rogue, like most people do, and like I've done, you're making this, you don't have your intelligence in there, you beef it, you have an awful time playing.
I think you've made a strong case for how the experience of playing the Scion of the Three rogue might be there. But anyway, class fantasy for this one. So very clearly throwing to Baldur's Gate 3 here. So Connor, who could you be from Baldur's Gate 3 if you wanted to be this character?
The issue is that there's no cool ones that you could really be here. Like, none of the main antagonists even really fit this bill. You're just being like you're being a shitty Thieves Guild member. That's all you're being as this subclass. You don't get to be any of the cool ones.
I did some research and some options popped up. So you tell me if my research was right or not. They said, I'm just going to show how little I know about Baldur's Gate 3. There's a character called the Dark Urge. Is that a character?
Yeah, I mean, it's an option for like your starting character, and you are technically what's called like a ball. This is going to sound awful in the cut. You're a ball spawn or a bile spawn. So basically, like, you are a child of the god of murder, and your whole intent is that you just want to, amen, brother, and you just want to kill and be murderous, basically. But it's still cooler than this. The abilities are cooler than this, so I don't even think Dark Urge fits the bill.
And then Shadowheart as well was in my suggestions.
No, Shadowheart's a cleric of Shah. She's and my in-game wife. Don't disrespect her like that, Jack. No. Unfortunately, no. I truly think that they've made the characters in Baldur's Gate too compelling for this.
I will throw this one in because when I read the first ability, this is what jumped into my head, and the rest of it doesn't fit at all. I don't know the name of the character because my friends are fans of the game series, but the character you play as in like the Dishonored games, the idea of like jumping around. Corvo, yeah, there you go. Like this, the aesthetic of like, because you do a lot of like teleporting around and slashing, and like that aesthetic in my head was very cool, and then it stopped being that. So
pretty much immediately.
Yeah.
That's a really good one, though.
That's a great pull.
And that's a great game as well. Then my only other one, because I feel like there's an angle here that you can take. It's like quite a stretch. You have to basically get your DM to homebrew a fourth option for you that would apply for the cantrip and the damage resistance so that you could do anything else. But there's an idea of like you're a person who was like tragically murdered and then resurrected by these evil gods. And then now you are like out and about in the world, but they're like forcing you to do stuff that you're not all that into. So a warlock, basically, is the angle there. And I think there's something that fits that, and it is from the 1994 cult classic film, The Crow, with Brandon Lee. You can be tragically murdered, and then a crow taps on your gravestone, and you're resurrected as an agent of the Three, or another thing. Not better. They are good concepts, aren't they?
I was trying to see where you were coming around with that, because like, he is cooking on this one. Yeah, that's good. I like that. And you could like tie that up with like the reborn species as well, as like your species that you choose. That would be fun. But again, to my point, you've just had to homebrew one of these classes.
All right. Play or nay, Connor?
Resounding nay.
Harlow?
Nay.
And yes, also, I'm conflicted about the Scion of the Three rogue, but it's definitely a nay for me. I think the teleport sounds cool, but everything else kind of mucks it up in the end. Next up, Spellfire sorcerer. So this is a sorcerer born with the ability to manipulate Spellfire. We'll talk a little bit about what Spellfire is in a few minutes, but holy cow, they get a lot of stuff here, and it's a lot of good stuff as well. So level 3, when you spend at least 1 sorcery point, you get temporary HP or deal fire or radiant damage, 1d4 of either of those. Then also at level 3, you get the Spellfire spells prepared, which is a mix of healing and fire spells. Level 6, always have counterspell prepared and regain sorcery points when you successfully counter a spell. 1d4 sorcery points regained. Like, you tell the tone of my voice, I'm a fan of that one. Level 14, you get improved Spellfire Burst, which is the ability from before. You get to add your Sorcerer level to temp HP, increase your damage to 1d8. And then at level 18, you can become a magical girl transformation, essentially. You gain flight. You can roll your hit die to reduce damage taken by the number on the die. And when forced to make a save by a spell, you take no damage on a success and half damage on a failure. Hoo boy.
This subclass is sick.
This is what a sorcerer should be.
This is what I want to read when I read a subclass in one of these books. I want to be just like, yes, 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 the whole way through. And this one, everything is hitting. It's like, yeah, I'm going to be using sorcery points all the time. I want to do extra stuff while I'm using sorcery points. Sure, I'll hand out some temporary hit points. I'll do some extra damage. That's fun. And then having counterspell always prepared.
I think that's such a cool, like, because I think the aesthetic of sorcerers, you don't even like counterspell is such like a control magic and doesn't necessarily blend perfectly with like the aesthetic of what you imagine with a sorcerer. But finding a way of just having it always prepared is sick, and then rewarding them for using it is so cool. Because I feel like it's probably not the case because counterspell is always a good spell to take. But I feel like counterspell just feels like a much more wizard-like spell to take, and Sorcerer's like, I want to burn.
I feel like they've already kind of like shaped it in a way where it's like you're regaining sorcery points for counterspelling. That doesn't even look like a counterspell to me. That looks like you're like, ooh, I'll have that magic and I'll convert it into my own. Ooh, it's good, it's tasty. I think the tagline of this class or this subclass like spells it out best, where it just says wield raw magic. That's what I want to see with sorcerers, because like at the end of the day, like magic is literally flowing through their veins. You know, it doesn't matter what type of sorcerer you are, you're meant to have this innate magic running through you, and this is the most like this is the pinnacle of this, basically.
And I feel like counterspell is one of those spells that people hold in reserve, where they're like, oh, should I use it on this one? Is this the right time to use it? And just to be like, nah, I'm going to use it to like regenerate my sorcery points. It's my draw engine in my magic deck is what counterspell is, basically.
Exactly. You're ramping.
Yeah.
He's ramping.
It's so cool. Like that's such a interesting thing to throw in there.
It feel like it begets a loop almost as well. I can see like a smart player like synergizing this, where it's like you're never running out of that spell slot because you're probably getting enough sorcery points, and then some other kind of shenanigans where you're burning stuff to get more sorcery points. I'm sure there's a feat that would synergize with this well, where basically you're either never running out of spell slots or sorcery points. So it's really good.
While we're talking about Spellfire, there is a new feat that I was like, why do I'm saying Spellfire so much? So there's an origin feat called Spellfire Spark, which kind of just synergizes perfectly with everything that Spellfire Sorcerer does. So with the main bit, you get a feature called Magic Absorption, which just lets you reduce the incoming spell or magical effect damage by 1d4 every single turn. So you just have the option, especially for lower, like 1d4 when you scale the higher levels, whatever, but any kind of level 3 to 7 sorcerer that can just reduce damage to it by 1d4. And then also, I think the thing I really love in any kind of like the first ability you get in a subclass is like it being versatile and how you use it. So if you're in danger and you need to expend sorcery point to get some temp HP back because you're low health, that's awesome. Or if you're just absolutely railing on the opponent, you can turn that into fire damage or radiant damage. Like there's just so many options compared to when we just talked about two subclasses where it feels like you don't really have a lot of options or leeway with how you're going to do things. Like it's very versatile and situation dependent as well. Like you got a lot of versatility, which is exciting.
And then capstone on this as well is just like straight up transformation vibes, like your Super Saiyan level abilities here going on. Flight, reducing like roll hit die to reduce damage, like that's cool and unique as hell. And then the spell resistance, like just succeed and take no damage, fail and take half. Like that's, you're just becoming a powerhouse at this point.
Yeah, and even the idea of if you fail and take half damage, then you can just reduce that all by your hit die. Like there's just the perfect combo of like you can still take nothing in the end from a level 9 meteor swarm or something.
It almost feels like a paladin like capstone to me. It gives me the same vibe because paladin capstones are always these crazy transformations as well, to the point where this is matching the same as that, which I think is really cool. I think a lot of people tend to stray away from sorcerers because they're getting less spells than a wizard. You know, sure, they've got the versatility, but I don't get to do all this cool shit. This is something that would bring people back to sorcerers and go, oh, I'm literally like eating magic that's being thrown at me. You know, I'm absorbing it. I'm lowering like the damage I'm taking from it. This is something where if you showed it to someone who was anti-sorcerer, I think this would win them over.
So class fantasy on this one leans super hard into Forgotten Realms fiction here because Spellfire is a pretty core part of that whole world. I can talk a little bit about that, but do you guys have anything that popped into your mind for other stuff that you could do?
I mean, it is very Forgotten Realms lore, but like it is very Scarlet Witchy of just like raw. Like I mean, sorcerer and Scarlet Witch always go hand in hand in my head, but just with the raw absorption of magic and just like pure chaotic energy in a lot of ways, I just feel like really ties in well together.
That and even like also from Marvel, Phoenix, like Jean Grey, like it's very much like, you know, a primordial kind of energy and like cosmic kind of force is what it gives to me.
So Spellfire is like a thing that's like a big part of the Forgotten Realms fiction. So I went back and I had a look to see what I could find out about this because I'm not a huge Forgotten Realms guy. And there isn't a ton about it in this actual book as well. It's like kind of like a paragraph. So been doing my best to try and learn about Spellfire, and the place I've gone back to is the very first novel that was written from this setting. So I've started reading that. It's called Spellfire. It is written by the Ed Greenwood, and it is about one of the main practitioners of Spellfire, who is called Chandril Shassar. So I'm not very far into the book yet, guys. So I assume
Early days.
that you would be able to play as this character. But I want to tell you the reason I haven't read much of this book. So started it, and I will continue with it. But I will say that Ed Greenwood is not beating the allegations that his writing is somewhat problematic with this first book because of how it starts. So, you know, we've obviously viewed this writing again in the modern lens, and we're like, maybe this is not okay, some of this stuff. And in this book, in the first paragraph, the female main character, Chandril Shassar, when she's introduced to us as readers, she is described as crying while washing dishes.
Thanks, Ed.
So yeah, he's not beating the allegations there that is some problematic writing. But I'll continue reading the book. I'll see how we go. I'll see what I learn. There was some cool world building, that's for sure. But hey, let's talk play or nay on this one. Arlo.
Yeah, I absolutely play. I think this is, like you said, Jack, this is how you should feel after reading a subclass. You should be excited. I'm excited about every aspect of this, so big play.
I can only echo the sentiment. It's so cool. It's wicked. It's so ingrained in like Forgotten Realms lore as well, because you've got like Spell Plague as well. It's so cool. Big play.
And the Spellfire Sorcerer is a big play for me. This one feels like an absolute no-brainer. Top class up there with Oath of the Noble Genies for me. Now, let's talk Bladesinger Wizard. So it's back. one of everyone's favorite wizard subclasses here. So this is a wizard who has mastered an ancient elven technique of magical combat. Main thing, level 3, you get Blade Song as a bonus action, which makes your AC, you get an AC bonus equal to your intelligence modifier. You get plus 10 speed, advantage on acrobatics. You can use intelligence for weapon attacks, add your intelligence modifier to con saves to maintain concentration. Then level 3 also proficiency with martial weapons, and you can use a weapon as a spellcasting focus. Level 6, you're getting an extra attack, which you can choose to replace with a wizard cantrip. Level 10, use a reaction to expend a spell slot and reduce damage by 5 times the slot level. And level 14, after casting a spell with an action, make 1 weapon attack as a bonus action.
2015 called. They want their class back. Sorry, I had to. No, I mean, I think it's cool, but it's like, do we need the re-release? Like, how I feel like we've seen a lot of like Gish classes, like battle mage kind of classes in recent years. Like we've got the Hexblade Warlock. You could arguably call a lot of paladins like kind of these hybrid like Gish classes as well. It's just like for me, I'm like, this is for people that want to play a wizard but don't like being a squishy wizard. They can't handle that. And I think to play a wizard is to be, you're suffering at your D6 hit dice until you hit level 20 and you're reshaping reality. I think you just have to, it's a burden you have to bear. Don't come at me and be like, oh, I'm buffing my AC. I'm like, stand in the back, buddy, and throw your fireballs.
Bladesinger was a very cool subclass back then. This is an improved version of it. And wizards shouldn't be good at everything. And I think Bladesingers are a very cool subclass for bards. I think the Bladesinger should have always been a bard subclass because it ties in better. And if you want to be an awesome damage dealing spellcaster, you don't get to be good with a blade in your hand. That is just the caveat of making something like, I don't know, how are rangers ever going to get played if you can just be anything as a wizard, you know? Like
Eldritch Knight, Swords Bard, Paladins, Hexblades, War Clerics. I could name 5 other better versions of a Bladesinger.
Whoa, that feels a little harsh.
He's going down on Bladesinger now. I like
Bladesinger is a good subclass. Like, let's not say better. Like, you get
mechanically, it's fine.
And wow, okay.
He's got stances.
Yes, I think it's freaking cool. Like this is such a fun class to play. Like the actual getting in there of like I'm going to throw down a massive like control spell that like locks down the battlefield, and I'm just going to go around like messing people up with swords. Like that sounds cool as hell. Like
yeah, that's the bard experience, Jack.
I will not negate. I think the aesthetic of Bladesinger is so freaking cool. I think it is one of the coolest aesthetics. I think it's a super cool subclass. I have no issues with it at all. There's just like actual classes that suck that need love, and I don't think wizards need more cool things in the first book that comes out. But everything they've done is a big improvement on it. It's an even better, well-rounded subclass. I have no issues with it at all. It's just like, I don't know, man. I know so many wizard players that I just already can't stand more now because like they just have 6 cool options. Like we were just talking about the fact that we got excited about a genuinely, in comparison to Bladesinger, a pretty piss poor Winter Ranger subclass because you're like, look, Rangers have 1 good subclass now. And it's like, great, Wizards have 7, and there's not even 7 out in the new edition of D&D.
Look, I echo Arlo's sentiment. It is by no means a bad class. It's awesome. I think it's so cool. But I just think that if you really want the power fantasy of like, oh, I can cast crazy 9th level spells and I can stab a sword, play 2 different campaigns. Play a fighter, play a wizard, man. I don't think you should get to have both. You should not have your cake and then your cake and eat it too. So.
Or play a Bladesinger wizard, because you can absolutely do that with the official material that is in a D&D book. So let's talk class fantasy here for this one. Thoughts, guys? Any options come up to you?
I mean, Fabian Seacaster from like Dimension 20 Fantasy High, which is hilarious because he's a bard. So, take from that what you will. Sorry, that came off.
Getting salty at the moment, Connor. I dropped it last week.
I'm so sorry. No. No, I think that's really interesting, though, is the fact that, like, he is a bar, but, like, in my head, that's what this space, like, kind of occupies. It's very, like, dance, like, flowy, driven, still slashing with a sword kind of fantasy.
I don't actually have any. I was really trying to think on, like, examples of, like, I mean, Gandalf with a sword.
He is the archetypical example of a wizard, and he is a Bladesinger.
Show me Gandalf dancing. Show me Gandalf dancing. Show me him singing.
This is obscene hair splitting, is what this is. I won't get into this kind of nonsense.
All right.
Bladesingers master a tradition of wizardry that incorporates swordplay and dance. It is a fundamental part of the subclass, and Gandalf ain't doing no dancing out on that dance floor. I tell you
didn't
what.
see the behind the scenes videos, then I think.
Wow, we're gonna. If this is how this is gonna go, we're gonna have to revisit Banneret Fighter, and we're gonna go through my pages of notes, tearing that apart. So play or nay on this one, guys. I'm prepared for some surprising.
Play 100%. Yeah, I would play it, but there's other things I'd probably play before it.
Arlo.
I have played as a Bladesinger, and I will probably play as one again. So yeah, I think Jack, we don't have an issue with Bladesinger. There's no issues at all with Bladesinger.
Why are we even having a conversation if you're going to say the total opposite of your opinion when we come to the final stage of it, guys?
You're not understanding the issue. The premise is it didn't need an improve. It didn't need to be in the book. Make cooler other subclasses.
But the Bladesinger is a play for me. I think this is, you get all the fun of a wizard with all the fun of a fighter. You cannot go wrong if you like combat with this class. All right, with that, let's hit the recap for this episode. Winter Walker Ranger, Connor.
Play if I can homebrew it.
Arlo.
I don't remember what I said. Did I nay this? Did I play this?
No, you played it.
I played it. Yeah, I did play it. Yeah, sorry. I'll go through my notes. Yeah, play.
And I'm a play on the Winter Walker Ranger as well. I think a lot of fun roleplay opportunities on that one. Then the Scion of the Three Rogue. Arlo.
Nay.
Connor.
Nay.
And I am also a nay on this one. Maybe you could multi-class into something fun after you get that teleport. Spellfire Sorcerer, Connor.
Huge play. One of the coolest sorcerer subclasses I've ever seen.
Arlo.
This is a play. I think I like this more than the Genie Paladin. I think this is probably the coolest subclass in the book. Big play.
And Spellfire Sorcerer is also a play for me. I agree. This is one of the top two classes in the book for me. This seems like just a home run on every front. And last of all, Bladesinger Wizard, Connor.
Play, and I'd also like an extra present on my birthday because that's what it feels like. But play.
Arlo.
Play. Incredible subclass. What a great subclass. I'm so glad that it's in the book. Big play.
I feel like I'm being fucking gaslit right now.
And so, like, just to make it very clear, Arlo and I didn't talk about this prior. This is no.
No, you just harmonized. You guys are blade singing on me right now. I am also a play for the Bladesinger Wizard. I think it's a real banger. I think it's one of the top cool, iconic classes in D&D. And I'm stoked that they re-released it into the new rules because it is from this setting. But one thing I forgot to mention, though, that I'm less stoked about is they didn't re-release the Bladesinger cantrips in this new book. You have to go back to, like, Tasha's to get, like, Booming Blade and Green Flame Blade.
That's odd.
Yeah, like you've got True Strike now, which is like a decent wizard cantrip. But like the Booming Blade and Green Flame Blade works really well for Eldritch Knight because you get to use your actual weapon ability rather than intelligence. But hey, can't get everything. Get that from Tasha's guide anyway. But that is everything for this week's episode. We'll be back next episode as we keep breaking down these books. We've got feats and spells to look at, and then we've got to look at those DM stuff as well in there. So, Arlo, Connor, thanks for ambushing me.
It's always a pleasure to do it.
Thank you, Jack. I appreciate it.
And in the meantime, I'll catch you in the next episode of The Table Business.